House is basically what you would have had in a school shooter. He's a 17-year-old kid. He shouldn't have had a gun. He crossed state lines to supposedly protect property. No, he was going out to shoot people.
I want to take a moment to read some of the more interesting tweets that have been made about the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, and I want everyone to know before I read these that some of them come from individuals who are deemed as credible in the news and journalism space. This Kyle Rittenhouse case is very important to white supremacists. This is why so many are supporting him, because the ability to kill people with impunity, particularly black people or white people who help black people, is an integral part of maintaining white supremacy. Kyle Rittenhouse is a white supremacist and a murderer who has been protected by the police, fascists, the media, and the courts since day fucking one. What I don't need in my life are reactionaries who are pretending to be communists to defend him on my timeline. The Kyle Rittenhouse jury is set, and it includes one person of color. Sounds about white. Anyone else think Kyle Rittenhouse is acting like the stereotypical self-entitled privileged white boy who thinks he's better than everybody else? If Kyle Rittenhouse escapes justice, there will be a celebration amongst the worst of us. He is a martyr of violent racists, a patron saint of white nationalist incels. The rest of us need to respond not with violence, but with activism, and in the work and at the polls. I am not arguing with anyone about Kyle Rittenhouse. The guy is a fucking white supremacist murderer who crossed state lines with guns and ammo, hunting people to shoot for sport, and he found a few of them. That is it. It's on video, for fuck's sake. I have zero sympathy for Kyle Rittenhouse. Black and Latino kids have been imprisoned and killed just for the color of their skin. He killed people, and in response, someone put, and that's the same face Kyle Rittenhouse will make during his first time in the prison shower. And I have to say, my favorite tweet from any of these idiots is this one. You ever see a judge moonlighting as a white supremacist? What I absolutely love about all those tweets and many more of them is that none of them are talking about what's going on in the courtroom. If you're somebody who thinks Kyle Rittenhouse deserves to be guilty and put in jail forever, you should be embarrassed and should know that the prosecution is doing a bad job at trying to prove that this dude is guilty.
I have been a licensed trial lawyer for 38 years, and in my career, I have never ever seen anything like I saw today in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. First, as far as great witnesses, he was from Central Casting, Mr. Rittenhouse. Absolutely perfect. Without a flaw, and showing emotion and heart and evoking sympathy and attention, and also some of the worst prosecuting, I'm sorry to say, I have ever seen in my life. How a mistrial was not called or a motion for mistrial granted. Now, I'm not saying anything. I'm not suggesting anything, but the mistake, the putative mistake made by the prosecution as far as commenting on the defendant's right to remain silent was absolutely textbook no-no. Now, I'm not saying anything, but if I didn't know better, in any other case, I would say somebody's trying to throw this. Somebody's trying to get a mistrial. Now, I know that cannot possibly be the case here, but to make that kind of a mistake from a seasoned prosecutor, I've never seen anything like it. It's unbelievable. And then, during cross-examination, to bring up the testimony from direct testimony, from his testimony, to repeat it, to reiterate it, to make sure that the jury is again reintroduced to this young man, this, in essence, victim. It was, without a doubt, breathtaking, mind-boggling.
They are not putting their best foot forward, and they are making it even harder to the jury to convince themselves that, yeah, this is somebody who needs to be in jail. Meanwhile, the defense, if you've bothered to actually watch the trial and actually spend time looking at the information that's out there and made public, you would think that, yeah, This dude defended himself against individuals who was trying to fuck him up. And people don't want to hear that. They just want to hear, oh my God, this man had a white supremacist symbol. He's a white supremacist. How could he do that to individuals who are helping black people? You got dumbasses like my new favorite black person, the only person who got on TV and said, you only care about this girl because she's a missing white woman and you have missing white women syndrome. Joanne Reed going around saying, oh my God, we should care about the victims. We should honor them, remember them.
Let me just remind people of the names of the victims. Joseph Rosenbaum, who was 36 years old, Anthony Huber, who was 26, Gage Grosskreutz, who's only 27 years old, was injured. These are the victims. These are the people that people ought to remember are the people who were hurt here, not the person who was crying on the stand today.
When these individuals are not good people, and I understand that their bad past is not the reason they got killed, but honestly, if you want me to feel sympathy for any of these dudes, you dealing and you talking to the wrong dude, because I could give a fuck. What was weird is that this continued push to not talk about what's going on in that courtroom is funny to me, because and I'm saying if because I don't know, I'm not on the jury, I'm not in the courtroom. If they announce that this dude is not guilty, you're going to have all these different people getting on camera, getting on Twitter, getting on YouTube and saying, how could this have possibly happened? He's a white supremacist and he did this. Oh, wait, the judge, his phone rang and it was a Trump theme song when his phone rang. Oh my God, he's reading a magazine. Oh my God, he made it some crack about Asian food. These are the reasons Kyle Rittenhouse got off scot-free when you're not even bothering to look up the courtroom, to look up the video, the live stream, the actual broadcast of the trial, because it's made public to anybody. You could watch anybody who's doing a live stream about it. But no, oh my God, we got to listen to LeBron because he, the glorious human being he is always telling the truth. And he's sitting there making fun of this dude for crying because he's talking about what happened that day when he shot 3 people. Not to mention, little side note, LeBron, I'm not saying he's dumb. He's a very intelligent man, but he's the wrong person to be opening his mouth when he knows nothing about what's going on. Because I remember a certain point a couple of months ago when he opened his mouth about Ma'Khia Bryant and he put his foot in his mouth and ended up having to delete that because he was actually wrong. And so I would think after all this time, you would think in your mind that, yeah, until something's definitive, you don't open your mouth because it's going to bite you in the ass later. But no, we got to use the buzzwords. We got to get people riled up. We got to get them to look at this and say, that guy right there is a white supremacist, and if he walks, it's just another symptom of what it means to be white as opposed to being black in this country. And might I just say, it's really weird to me that we're making this a white supremacist, white nationalist, white incel thing between a white guy and 3 other white guys. I just find it odd that none of this has to do with a black person, and the only black person you could even bring up is the person who got shot because he was where he wasn't supposed to be at the time. And so it's just weird to me that this is somehow about white supremacy. Call it what it is. A bunch of y'all are mad that this dude might walk. And so now you're just trying to grab at some straws. You're trying to get people to say, oh, if you think he's not guilty, you're a white supremacist. You're a white ring grifter who's out there trying to do something to support Trump and all these different buzzwords because you're not paying attention to the actual evidence that's being made in the courtroom. That's it. The evidence is there for you to watch. I get it. Oh, it's too long and I have things to do and I'm just going to get my information from Twitter. Okay, cool. Because there are people who are posting highlights of what's going on. But if you're getting your information from the wrong people or the people who are just saying, look, race card here, race card there, you should feel this way about this. And if you don't, you're bad. You're going to walk away from this with the wrong information. That's why I tell you dumbasses all the time when these things come out and all you got is 15-second clips and a bunch of verified check marks giving their opinion. Wait in the middle. It's not a controversial talking point. It's not something that's going to get you in trouble with the law. You could lose a couple friends who are also dumb as a stump too, but I guarantee you waiting in the middle is not that much of a problem. When you do that, you can see for yourself where the information is coming from, where the evidence actually is, who's telling the truth, who's lying, and come to a definitive conclusion. It's not that hard. These idiots who only talk about race and white supremacy and don't bring any of the facts, they make make it harder for you, and I feel sorry for you. I want to give you a hug, but you're participating in the stupid instead of doing something smarter, which is waiting for everything to come to the table. If you watch this trial, you're going to see a lot in regards to self-defense, and you're going to see a prosecution that's doing a really bad job. And I'm somebody who's of the belief that, yeah, after watching this for the past few days, he might walk and be not guilty. That's not my fault. That's not my problem. You know why? Because I'm not the defense. I'm not the prosecution. I'm simply watching the evidence get rolled out and watching who says what and watching all the truth being displayed and not the buzzwords about how white people are the devil. So to end this video, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not rooting. I'm not supporting. I'm simply a dude in a chair watching it all play out. Either way, I'm probably going to make another video about this because apparently when I said, oh my God, I don't know the dude, I don't care about the dude, I was such a bad human being. I don't care, so therefore I'm the evil person. You asked me to care, so guess what? Don't whine like a bitch when I make a video that you don't like. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see y'all in the next one. Get your information from people who are actually credible. Goodbye.